I've bought myself an i30N Varex muffler. Now you might be wondering why, but looking at the shape and size of the thing, I thought, you know what, I think that's going to fit. And it came with a whole bunch of the Smart Box accessory kit as well. In this video, you'll see how to install all of the Varex Smart Box kit. Of course, you'll be hearing a lot of VR6 noises. Make sure you put your headphones on to get all of that goodness in your ears. Right, so let's get started. Before installing any of the Varex kit, I needed to make sure that the overhead light mod that I did was going to work with the unit. And you can see here with a simple testing of the unit, it's definitely working. You can see that red signal going on and off, and I've got the screenshot of the app on here as well, which is also showing you the status of that position flap. So that's really, really cool. While I've got that up here on the screen, let's have a look at the app a little bit closer. Now there are three main modes, which is manual first, and it just shows you here the 4 different options which you can set to your own percentages and full close or full open. Then you've got the matrix mode, which is really, really cool. That requires an OBD connection, and that allows the car to be relaying the RPMs, your throttle position, in order to set some values that you can customize to your liking. And then you've got the geo mode, and geo mode's awesome. You can set a geo fence. Basically there's a map that shows up and you set a radius, and anytime you're inside that radius you can set the position to closed or whatever percentage you want. And then when you're outside of that, that's when you want to set it to an open position. So they're really, really awesome settings there. That's way over just a simple on and off switch, and we'll have a closer look at that later on. But first, let's have a look at the installation of all of the Varex kit. First, I need to clear the boot in order to gain access to the floor, as I need to send a plug down underneath the car so that it can reach the Varex muffler. And this is probably the best spot to go down into. It's in the left-hand side of the boot if you're looking towards the front of the car. There's a grommet there that you can pop that plug through, and then you can feed it down to where the Varex mechanism is. Now I'm removing the front passenger seat. Now you might be wondering why I'm doing this, and it's because I want to do a stealth install of the Varex kit. So I'm just going to pop all of this trim off in order to gain access to the area under the carpet where the passenger seat is. And under here there's this little black box, and inside this black box is usually where your Bluetooth module will be. Obviously I've ripped that out because I don't need that anymore. That Bluetooth module does nothing in this day and age. And this is where all of the Varex kit is going to sit. You can see here it kind of just fits in there quite nicely. And then there's this plug here, which is going to be really convenient because this is what's going to help power up the Varex Smart Box. Now looking really closely at this 42 pin plug, you can see that position 1 and 2 is power and ground, and that's what we want to splice into. This is the power plug for the Varex Smart Box, so I've just fed that through under the rear seat and to the area where the Bluetooth plug is, and I'm just splicing into it with these connectors. Now it's time to test the power for the Varex Smart Box, and that's all good. Blue blinking light means everything's got power. As I mentioned before, the Varex Smart Box does have a geo mode, and this is where this GPS unit comes into play. I initially thought to install the box in behind where the tweeter is, but it wasn't going to fit. And I thought to fit it behind here where the central speaker used to be, but I couldn't feed the wire through. So then I ended up installing it behind the instrument cluster here, where you can see that little black box on the left and the wire coming out. That's that GPS GLONASS unit. I'm just feeding the signal wire through behind the air vents and then down behind the glove box to the area where the Bluetooth box was, which now houses the Varex kit. Now the Varex smart controller is getting power, it's time to pop that lid back on and return to the rear of the vehicle to make sure the signal wiring is fed through the boot floor so that it can reach the valve motor. Before we get into that, let's have a look and see what this used to sound like. So remembering that I've swapped in a 3.6 from a Passat R36 engine here, you can watch those videos up in the link on the right hand side. And what you can see there is a bodged exhaust job, which I did just to get the car running. And this used the 3.6 downpipe and cat section joined to the 3.2's muffler rear section. So here's how that used to sound. So it's actually not too bad. There is that little bit of a VR sort of soundtrack going on there. It's kind of swooshy though. So this is where the custom 3-inch resonated catback gets installed, and it's joined up to that Varex valved muffler. All right, so first startup, how does it sound? Nice. Oh my God, how much better is that? All right, so let's get the car out on the road and just do some little sound bites for you. Standing revs. If you already haven't put your headphones on, make sure you put them on now. Trust me, it's going to be worth it. If you like how that's sounding, make sure you hit that like button below. Matrix mode. So here you can see all these different values showing up, and that's because the OBD2 port is communicating to the Varex Smart Box. You'll set your parameters, and whatever's going on inside or outside that parameter you can see will be dictated by the settings in the below two boxes. Geo mode. Here I'm just setting up the geo fence. When you're happy with the setting, you go back and set the parameters to whatever you want it to be inside or outside that fence. Then you go ahead and activate it, and here's the demo. Of course, I'm not going to forget the launch control videos. So there are all the features of the Varex Smart Box. There's a lot going on, heaps of options, which is awesome. Now let me know what you think of this exhaust. Do you reckon it fits? Is it no good? Just leave your comments below. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.